Hey, what's up, Jason? I hope you're doing good today, my friend. Merry Christmas to you and to yours. And just wanted to do a little Christmas chapel for you. And man, hope you guys, just have a good one. And I'm hoping to get out to Tennessee maybe to see you guys with my half sister. So that would be fun in March of 2026. We'll see, what kind of transpires right from here to there. We never know. But anyway, hey man, I wanted to share with you something that's written around 700 years before the birth of Jesus. And remember, Jesus' Hebrew name's Joshua. And so Jesus is kind of a Latin derivative into the English. And but there's a really cool passage in the book of Isaiah that I've always found fascinating. And like you, I wasn't raised around reading the Bible. I didn't really read this passage until I was probably, maybe 18, 19, somewhere in there is when I was moving through these books of the Bible. And I kind of came across this passage that was really interesting. And before I even read it, I just want you to understand that the whole topic of the Bible from the book of Genesis all the way to the book of Revelation is this particular person called the Messiah. And I might have mentioned that in a previous chapel before. But that's kind of the big topic. Obviously, the big topic is God. And that's a no-brainer. From Genesis to the book of Revelation, God is the big topic. But the idea of God visiting the planet or God demonstrating his character on the planet is always depicted in a particular person called the Messiah. And the Messiah is like a title. It's like if you say someone's a CEO or, someone's a captain, of a team. It's telling us that they have a particular role to play in a business or on a team, etc. Well, when the term Messiah is used, it kind of is telling us about a particular person, and the Old Testament is unveiling this person. It starts really early on, actually, on page 3 of the Bible, that there would be a child that would be born. And this born would would defeat the enemy. That there is an enemy and he needs to be defeated. And the way this is going to work is through actually the offspring of a woman, a particular offspring. And this is another idea that's really kind of throughout the Bible. It's that God's going to get the glory for his work of salvation. It's not going to be something that humans can say, hey, look how awesome I am. I deserve to get into heaven. And sometimes human beings act that way, like, I'm so awesome. Look at me. Oh boy, certainly God's going to save me because I'm super awesome, kind of thing. We become really self-absorbed, not realizing that what we are actually doing is we're actually boasting, and we are prideful, and we become arrogant and conceited, which is no righteousness at all, really. And so it actually becomes proof that you can't get into heaven based on your good works. It's going to have to be God who saves you. And so the Messiah is a title that's given to God on the planet who shows you his character and saves you. He's the dude that shows you that there is a God, shows you what God's like, and he also is going to do something to save you, to help you, to heal you, right? To redeem you. And in a sense, lift you up, get you to, on the stairway to heaven, to get you, and he becomes actually the stairs, in the stairway to heaven. He is the stair. The Messiah is the stair, the one we're walking on, to enter into a place of right relationship with God. And so I know that's already a lot, but just the idea of Messiah, the theme of the Bible, it's this kid that's going to be born. Now, in the book of Isaiah, 700 years before Jesus is on the scene, it says this, For a child is born to us, a son is given to us. The government will rest on his shoulders. And it says, and he will be called. So the government will rest on his shoulders, meaning he's going to have the world on him. Everything is going to be weighing on him. It's on his shoulders. I don't know if you've ever done any lifting of weights, but man, the one thing I hate about squats is just that bar that's on your shoulders, and it kind of heavy, and it bothers your back. And this is the idea, is that something's going to weigh on the Messiah, this son that will be born. There's going to be a burden placed on him, a heavy burden. And it's the burden that's in this world, the burden that no one can seem to relieve themselves of. The stress, the anxiety, the depression, the addiction, just the lack of peace, the lack of serenity, the way this world is, the corrosion, right? Corrosion of conformity, right? It's just madness. And it's going to weigh on him. He's going to bear it. It's all the governments will be on his shoulders. And it says, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. And it says, and his government and its peace will be no end. So this is an everlasting king who's going to establish a kingdom. And all the governments are going to be accountable to him. Who's this going to be? A son that's going to be born. Again, this is the topic of the Bible, that this Messiah, this God in human flesh. Notice his name will be Everlasting Father, Wonderful Counselor, right? Mighty God, Prince of Peace, the one who truly brings peace. Who is it? Mighty God. See, we shouldn't exalt any other being other than God, whether in heaven or whether on the earth. God is the one we should exalt. And this is the idea of the Messiah. The Messiah is, by definition, God in human flesh. The one that is the big topic of the Bible. So when I say the word Messiah, I'm already talking about God visiting the planet, defeating the enemy, doing something that we couldn't do, saving us because we couldn't save ourselves. And God doesn't save us from afar, but he saves us by coming into our world and literally dwelling with us, literally taking a body, a human body, and coming in and doing something with that body to make us right. One of the things that this passage stresses so much at this time, I think, when we celebrate Christmas, which is so cool, is just the idea that we're a visited planet. Growing up atheistic, I always thought well, where's God? If God's really real, I don't see him anywhere. That kind of idea. Well, Christmas is the idea that, no, the Messiah has come. The Messiah has been promised for thousands of years, and now the Messiah has come into the world to deal with the issues at hand. How can human beings that are so vile have such great potential because they're made in the image of God? They have an incredible potential, and we see that. But we also see the utter failure. How can these humans that have such great potential but also such utter failure be right, get made right? We are visited. And this is what Jesus says when he's on the scene. I have come to show you the Father. I've come to reveal the Father. He who has seen me has seen the Father. Why? Because unto us a child is born. Unto us a son is given, and his name shall be, not literal name, but the idea of the character. Who is this person? His names, if you will. Man, he is Wonderful Counselor, Prince of Peace, Mighty God, Everlasting Father. Man, there's going to be no end to that dude's reign. He's going to bring peace. And, sometimes the only peace we can have on this planet when it seems like everything's fallen apart is looking to someone who's greater, someone who's bigger, someone who's better, someone who can provide the peace that we need. And a lot of times we just can't see this in other human beings. My wife might be able to provide a little bit of peace. My kids might be able to provide a little bit of peace. But no, I need something greater than them to literally deal with this body of death, this corruption, something that has to be more powerful than the corruption of death that I face. Metallica is so right. Life just seems to fade away, getting further every day, lost within myself. Nothing matters, no one else, right? I have lost the will to live, simply nothing more to give, right? I need something to set me free, right? Something to set me free from what? Me. And it's like those are true words of what we see in our world. A need for redemption, a need for a peace that comes from outside of us, because within us, it cannot happen. I always used to think in California, like, man, dude, it's like, I'll just be my own person and I'll just find my own peace. But, when I really looked within myself, I found not just potential for goodness, but I saw a lot of not so good things too. And then I saw the potential for evil as well. I need someone greater. I need that person to get me up, get me through, help me climb, that ladder, and this is what Jesus has come to do. So we're a visited planet. We're visited by who? It's the Messiah. What's the definition of the Messiah? It would be someone that would come into the world, born, and it would be a very unique person. Wonderful Counselor, Everlasting Father, Almighty God, Prince of Peace. Wow. And the whole world will rest on his shoulders. He will bear it. He will bear the mess of this world and make it right. And this is the beauty of that baby that's born in a manger, in a feeding trough, is starts off so lowly, right? So humbly. God doesn't come in as this mighty king with robes and everything like that, but just in a humble way to come and meet our need. I love that. Gentle. God comes in gently to meet your need and my need, our biggest needs. He doesn't come in like a stormtrooper, some Darth Vader character. I'm on the scene, man, I'm powerful, I'm going to go, wreck shop, kind of thing. But he comes in just so gentle, so humble, to meet our needs. Man, you see the character of God in the Messiah. That's the beauty of Jesus. You want to know what God's like? You look at Jesus. You go, wow, that is what God's like. He does things beautifully, humbly, selflessly. He loves infinitely. His mercy is new every morning. Unbelievable. So don't forget the main person. The main topic of what the season's about and literally what the Bible's about. So, man, hope that helps, and hope that's just as an enjoyable chapel for you, Jason, and wishing you and the crew the best. Okay, you take care, and you could share this with whoever, man, you want. If you think there's someone who could use it, definitely share away. Okay, take care, buddy. Bye bye.